Hey guys, it's Jason Webb. This is the show that highlights local business leaders and the movers and shakers of Minnesota. Welcome to Minnesota Made. Hey Minnesota, it's Jason Webb with the Minnesota Made podcast, and I'm sitting here with Darren Kiser with Kiser Construction. We're in Elk River, Minnesota. Kiser Construction. Based in Minnesota?
Yes,
You're
sir.
from Minnesota?
Yep.
So how fitting. We're on Minnesota Made. Darren, we've been sitting here probably too long, shooting the shit a little bit, talking about Joe Rogan and polar ice caps and a little bit about the business. And you're a cool dude, Darren. And, one thing I want to bring up right away because I appreciate it, I find it interesting, and I give kudos to you. You can't really tell on the camera right now, and if you're listening to the audio, of course you can't see what I see, but you're in a wheelchair. And we talked about what had happened a little bit, and the part I really appreciate, and just to put it bluntly, I feel a lot of people are not mentally tough. There's no grit. In other words, a lot of people are pussies, to put it simple. And here you are, crashed your freaking snowmobile, put you in a wheelchair, and you're like, screw it, dude. I am still gonna get out there and, get in an industry such as construction. You're talking about being out on the field, putting up siding, cutting siding and bending metal and being in the chair and then that led to, eventually starting your own company, which, man, hats off to you. And I appreciate that. So could you talk a little bit about that? Let's maybe start at the Snowmobile accident and what happened there, and then the difficulties and the transitions and that you had to go through to continue working in construction and eventually starting your own business.
So in 1997, I was a roofer, and me and some friends were out riding, and I hit a guy wire on a telephone pole.
So you got the pole, you got the wire that comes down to kind
Yeah.
of support the pole. You
Yeah.
hit that with your sled.
Yeah.
And you suppose you weren't going 5 miles an hour.
No, not, you know what? It wasn't very fast.
Oh, it
and it's
wasn't?
not a great, cool story, no.
Right.
So I just hit the wire, and it took me off, and then I got run over by the sled behind me.
Oh shit.
And so that's what broke my back, was the going this way and then going that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's probably in the lower back then?
No, high.
High back?
Mhm.
Okay.
'Cause that's where I hit.
All right. So rehab, learning how to deal
3
with.
months. So I had 3 months of rehab. I got out of Sister Kenny, and then I was out for a day or two, and then I went to work in the office at the roofing company where I subcontracted from.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you were like, how old did you say?
22?
22.
22.
Young. And so you went back to work and you were working in the office initially, right?
Yeah.
And one thing led to another. You're telling me a story about working out in the field, in the mud, right?
Yeah.
With the wheelchair.
And the followed the pettibone in so that there was tracks to get through the mud.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were cutting siding and bending metal.
Yeah, yep.
Crazy.
Yep. So we had a couple guys when we first started in 2003. It was me and Nate and Matt, and I would cut and run the brake,
Yeah.
and they would hang siding.
So did you go through a period of time where you kind of had, woe is me, like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, I'm just going to sit home and
No.
get fat and...
I went to work right away.
Yeah?
There was probably a little bit of time where I wasn't probably the greatest person to be
Sure.
around.
Oh man, that's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
But, no. But there might have been some woes me in there too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But you went back to work right away,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, working itself, I feel, is therapeutic.
Yeah.
You're being productive, you're doing things.
Yeah, I like to work.
Yeah, I just shot a podcast at a different location, and he was talking about how difficult it is to find employees right now because they're wanting to sit home and get their unemployment check. And
extra.
what do you think about that, man?
You know what? It's not for me.
Yeah.
I don't, not a sit in one spot kind of person.
Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah. It bugs me. And all right, so you're working out in the field.
Hmm?
You one thing leads to another, and you're like, I'm gonna start my own company. What were you thinking? How did that happen?
So, Nate was the sales manager at Top Gun, which was a roofing company where we worked.
Okay.
And so I did scheduling and ran all the crews. And so we just decided to start Kiser Construction in 2003.
Okay. And you started off as a exterior.
Yep. Exterior, roofing,
Contractor.
siding, windows,
Yeah.
gutters.
Gotcha. And how'd that go? And how did you
Good.
transition into what you're doing now?
So now we do remodel, fire and water restoration, water mitigation, and water damage rebuild, and exterior, and accessibility.
All right. And any growing pains along the way, or what made you transition from straight exterior to what you do now with fire and water and restoration?
There was a couple of the sales guys that wanted to get into the fire and water restoration.
So they talked you into it?
Yes, I thought they were crazy.
Why did they want to get into it? Did they have some experience with it?
Yeah, we had a couple of fires that we had worked on.
Okay.
And just the, being able to help people,
Yeah.
and get them from point A to B.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So we tried that, and we started with a few fires that, just people that we knew or acquaintances.
It's almost like a house fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, residential house fire.
Okay. So you started off with a couple of house fires and they both went well and
Yeah.
the insurance company paid okay? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as we progressed, we took classes, got certified, and
Oh, there is a certification for this?
Yep. Yeah,
What's
there's
that?
a certification to IICRC. So there's odor control, there's fire and water, or fire damage, and there's water damage.
Okay. And when you started the company, was it just a couple of you guys and you've grown since?
Yep, there was 3 of us in the beginning.
3.
When we started siding, 3 of us.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we've ebbed and flowed with the market, I guess.
Yeah.
But we've gone from primarily exterior to exterior, fire and water, and remodel. And we do obviously retail.
Sure. Is there a bread and butter for you that you focus on mostly out of all
The
those things?
fire and water restoration and the exterior. The
Yeah.
exterior we do in the summer.
Okay.
The fire and water is year round. It's more prominent in the winter with the frozen pipes and depending on the kind of winter we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has there been? Did you feel like there's been any extra difficult situations that you've had to overcome due to physical limitations, being in the wheelchair at all, or?
No.
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 Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great people,
Okay.
and so no.
Okay. Good.
No, just figuring out how to get in the truck and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've always drove a lifted truck or lifted something.
Yeah.
And, no, there really isn't, I mean, I'm not gonna walk into somebody's house and go upstairs and check out their remodel.
Right.
The first roof that we sold, I went in with my partner Nate at the time, and he dragged me upstairs. I was terrified.
You grabbed the back of the chair.
Yeah, hauls me up the stairs. So we sell the roof, and then he asked the homeowner, he's like, well, do you want to give me a hand? And so the homeowner had the back, and the homeowner let go, and I went all the way down the stairs.
Oh,
Yeah, so I landed at the bottom of the stairs,
just Like that, so you rolled
just down.
Oh.
You know.
Okay, yeah.
It was
Not-
it wasn't
not too
graceful
dramatic.
or anything though.
Okay.
It was I was
Yeah.
like laying in the yard and stuff or
Oh,
whatever.
jeez.
But yeah, so that was like the first or second roof that we did
Oh,
as Kiser Construction.
okay. We'll just get that one right out of the
So
way.
yeah,
right?
so that was done, and after that, there isn't.
It hasn't been an issue.
It's no.
Yeah.
No, and most people, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So, because I'll go out and I'll do estimates for gutter jobs and siding and stuff, and mainly the exterior stuff.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon, I'll go out and do the accessible jobs,
Okay.
which we didn't do accessibility. Scott actually was the accessibility guy.
Okay.
And so he knew more about the accessibility portion than I did.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've had a lot of fun with it,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lady come in and they were meeting in the conference room and she was yelling at the guys because her husband was in a wheelchair and that we were trying to take advantage. And so I come in and she's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Foot in the mouth, right?
Yes.
So here she is, her husband's in a wheelchair, she's accusing you guys of taking advantage
Yes.
of them because he's in a wheelchair?
Yes.
And you come rolling in.
And I came in and she was so, I don't know if she was mad or embarrassed.
Well, I hope she was embarrassed. at
Yeah,
least,
but
right?
then, so then it lasted another few minutes and then she left. But
Gotcha.
we've had a few, some funny stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just not typical, I guess.
Right. Got it. Talking earlier, it sounds like you're working on some, at least one big project right now.
Yeah.
And, when you look at the work or you consider the work of other contractors who do restoration work, right? And I know there's a certification that's involved in the process and so on, but what is it that you feel makes a contractor especially good at this type of work, versus a fly-by-the-night company that you may have heard of or experienced that, I don't know if you have experienced work that hasn't been the greatest, but...
Yeah, you run into it here and there. I would say we have a lot of great guys, and so the finish and the communication, and we've been, through in the ups and downs of, I guess it's more growing pains, because you're trying to get to that next level, but you're still staffed with this level, I guess, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
And so to change that, you have to change everything. So it's the communication, it's project management. We started just specific project managers probably 2.5, 3 years ago. Pre that, it was the sales guys were doing the project management portion, and so they would sell and try to manage it, and it just got to be so chaotic.
Right.
So we added the project managers. We've added some additional software to make everything flow smoother.
Okay, good.
But it's still construction, so it seems it's not going to be perfect all the time. So
Right.
whoever is the best at adapting to what's going on,
It's going to raise above.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, you said that a couple times, and I don't know if it's the nature of the beast with construction and contractors, but from my experience, the contractors I've dealt with personally in the past, that's probably been my biggest complaint,
Yep.
They don't show up when you expect. I get it, maybe it was the electrician that didn't show up and now they're waiting to get that part done so they can finish up that job before they can come to my place, but dude, let me know, and return my call at least, or
Yeah.
take 2 minutes and send me a text and say it's delayed for a few days instead of me just wondering and
Yeah.
not getting a return call,
Right. No, that is very common.
Yeah.
Well, in the last few years, it's been so busy that, you know, there's people that they don't have to return a call.
Yeah.
And so
They
I
just
don't
don't care.
know if that's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's, you know, they're short term, you know, when it's busy and everything's great, you know, you got Pete in the pickup that will just go do, you know, sign a couple jobs and go out and just grab his hammer and nails and go to work.
Right.
Where when it's not, you know, it's not as prominent,
Yeah.
then it thins out and it seems to get a little better.
Right.
The storms too, the exterior, the hailstorms, that will bring in all kinds of storm chasers and,
Yeah.
you know,
They come
people
from out of state?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just follow those hailstorms around, huh?
Typically, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, as a whole, I don't know, what's your take on the storm chasers? Is it companies to kind of try to stay away from because they come and go, and if there's problems after they go, and now what?
Then you're usually stuck holding the bag.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. There's a few that are good, you know, that will set up offices and stay. But I mean, you have your people that will just take your cash and run too.
Yeah.
So.
Huh. Now, the type of work you do, mostly it sounds like water restoration, water and fire, right?
Yep.
And so restoration work. Where do most of those accounts come from for you? Is it beating the doors and talking to insurance agents like myself, or?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a lot of it.
Okay.
And then a lot of it is referral.
Okay. Yeah. You get a lot of repeat business?
Past homeowners. You know, we've actually had quite a few. You know, it's weird that, because it's not, you don't think of it as it would be a repeat business because of, you know, how many fires have you had at your house?
Yeah, it's none.
0.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we've done a couple houses, you know, one was a fire and one was a water.
Oh. Or I could see a fire and then a few years they get hit by hail.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Or the other way around. Or they'll have hail damage and then they'll have a water damage or something, you know. Ice
Sure.
dams. Ice dams were pretty prominent for a few years.
Man, I had one at my house. It's
Mhm.
like, what do you do? You know, it's
Right.
like, I was like, rent this big piece of equipment that runs hot water, like a power washer.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's what you do?
Steamers.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't know, the configuration of my roof, it's like the perfect storm. It all flows like right here and freezes, and then it's like, yeah, it's a mess. And then it was leaking in my house for a little bit because of it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And they always look good on paper. And when you build it, you know, that's when you find the issues.
Right.
Plus, it's Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, Minnesota's very different than, say, down south.
Yeah.
And there's products that work great down south that don't work great here.
What do you think about those heated coils you put on your roof or put on your
They
gutter?
work great as long as there's a few different ways that you can put them up. So you can put them on a switch, but then you have to remember to turn the switch on.
Sure.
You can put them on a thermostat. That's probably the best way, then you don't have to think about it.
Right.
Because if you turn it on after the fact, it usually creates more damage than good.
Oh,
Yeah.
good to know.
Mm-hmm. Same with the self-plug-in ones.
Yeah.
You have to remember, it's just more maintenance, one more thing to remember, and everybody's so busy.
Yeah. Sure.
Makes it tougher.
Yeah, I got one of those avalanche snow rakes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that really helped, just
Yeah.
getting the snow off the roof as soon as I could. Right.
Yep, if you can keep the bottom 3-4 feet off, you're very...
Typically okay.
Mm-hmm. That's where your ice dams are caused.
Okay.
Because it refreezes when it hits the soffit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, what's the future look like for Kiser Construction? Are you going to keep doing what you're doing? You looking to grow or expand in any areas in particular?
Yeah. I mean, our goal is we would like to add more marketing. The labor force has been challenging because good people are hard to find. We've been in business, you know, since '03, so we've acquired a lot of good people, but it's not. You're gonna go out and just find a great group of guys to begin with, and just boom. So I mean, we've had good people, we've had bad people. It's just a culmination of everybody that's good.
Mm-hmm.
We kept and just kept. So we're growing.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of I guess resources would be probably the greatest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So the bad ones kind of weeded themselves out.
Yeah.
As far as the
Yep.
employees are concerned.
Yeah.
Are you hiring now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you looking for?
We are looking for interior finish and framing.
Okay.
So.
2 people?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So work aside, I don't know, what was life like growing up as a kid? Where'd you grow up? What are some of the things you like to do on the side as far as spend your free time if you have any?
So growing up, I grew up in Champlin.
Oh, that's a nice area.
I went to Anoka High School.
Okay.
Graduated in 1992.
Ah, me too.
Really?
Class of 92, Annandale, Minnesota.
Oh yeah, my grandma had a cabin in Maple Lake.
No kidding?
Yes.
Yeah. Small town. I dated Miss Maple Lake.
Really?
Yeah. So you grew up in Champlin, went to Grandma's cabin out in Maple Lake.
Yep. My grandma had a cabin in Maple Lake. Yeah, just grew up. We
You
didn't
have
have
siblings?
a lot. I have a little sister, younger sister. She's not little anymore, but
Okay.
yep, younger sister. She is now married with kids. They live in Proctor.
Huh.
And then I had a little girl, Shaylin. She was born when I was 18.
Okay.
And so yeah, it was me and her for a long time. And then I got married when I turned 40. And so my wife Angie, she had 2 boys when we got married.
Okay.
And then we had Nevaeh, who is 6.5, and Memphis, and he is 4.5.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool
So
names.
it's
You're busy. No
yeah. So there's no hobby. I had a stretch in the middle where I had got to do like some fun stuff. That was
No more fun stuff
that's
for
gone.
a while, right?
That's been about that was about 7-8 years ago.
And how old did you say the youngest? 4 and 6?
Yep.
4 and 6.
Memphis is 4 and Nev is 6.
Nevaeh. Heaven spelled backwards.
Yep. My mom came up with that.
Yeah.
And Memphis is from Gone in 60 Seconds. I like cars.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, Memphis reigns.
Cars are kind of a passion of yours?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like cars.
Do you have any you want to talk about?
Yeah. I
Rods?
have a Nova that I built that I bought. Probably had it for about 19 years, 18 years, somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Really fun.
Yeah. And the little ones, are they doing any sports yet?
Nev does. She was in kickboxing.
Oh.
No, she was in. The boys were in kickboxing for parkour, and then Nev gymnastics. In Memphis, he just likes to fight, so we're trying to get him into MMA. So he stops kicking everybody's butt around the house.
Jiu-jitsu, that'd be good.
Yes.
Fun. I did that for several years.
That's what we were trying to get him in there, but they said he's too little. They don't start until 5.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
So we got him boxing gloves and pads and everything, and
Yeah. Awesome.
we fight. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Joe Rogan will commentate one of his fights.
Yeah,
in the
that would be
future.
outstanding. Or
Yeah,
Nev's.
full circle.
Because Nev's she's quite the boxer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're teaching her.
Nice.
So.
Well, I almost forgot. We got this big board behind us, which looks impressive. It looks like you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And we have people's names across the top, and marketing and numbers, and it was just kind of tracking sales and production, kind of a little bit.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's just sales and over the years
Nice.
we average. Yeah, that's average.
Okay.
So we're trying to.
Bump it up a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year was really challenging with manufacturing and everything.
Because of COVID, was shutting everything down.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, our cabinets went from 3 to 4 weeks to 9 to 12.
To get cabinets made.
Yes, to get cabinets, box cabinets. So people were sitting with their kitchens torn apart for like 4 months, 5 months.
That would suck.
Yes, because once it's got water damage, it's pretty much worthless.
Yeah.
So we would put in temporary sinks and stuff where we could,
Yeah.
but there was some challenges.
It's like camping from hell.
Yes. Yes, we had one lady that was doing dishes in her bathtub.
Oh, well,
So,
yeah, she improvised.
yes. But our patients were running thin
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, sounds that way. Okay, so let's say I have a business that, God forbid, burns down tomorrow, or my basement floods, or the septic line clogs up and flows into my basement and creates a nasty mess.
Yeah.
And they want to find out more about you and your business. What would be the best way of them going about it?
They can go to the website, and that is www.kaiserrenovations.com.
Okay.
Or we have a 24-hour emergency number.
Okay.
And if you call our office at 763-633-2010, and then there's a prompt where you just press the button and we answer 24 hours a day.
Great. So the website again is Kiser Renovations
Renovations with an S.com.
with an S.com.
Or you can Google Kiser Construction.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way.
And that's Kiser.
Yeah.
All right. There you go, guys. Kiser Construction in Elk River, Minnesota. They do exterior work, but they are awesome at fire and water damage, both commercial and residential. Got it right?
Yes, that's awesome.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time,
Thank
man.
you.
And I wish you all luck.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.